Previously on the Batman.
Don't worry, I'm here to rescue you. Oh my god, thank you. Let's go. Are you willing to support the Minutemen now?
Sure thing. I'm glad someone's trying to do some good around here for once. You can count on our help if you need it.
You couldn't have known something like this would happen.
The probability of attack was high. I should have forced our departure. It's time to uncover the source and confront their leader, the Mechanist. I will not rest until the Mechanist is stopped.
After agreeing to help Ada, we both headed for the General Atomics factory to find our next clue, and hoping to find the Mechanist. However, as we traversed the dangerous road, we were met with some feral ghouls. Luckily, they were easily dispatched with the power of justice, and with a little help from my trusty 10mm. Anyways, after a long hike, we finally arrived at the factory. Once we entered, we were immediately attacked by the Mechanist robots. Me and Ada immediately went to work and took care of them with ease. After exploring the factory for a bit, we took out a robo-brain in the next room. It seems that this robo-brain was housing some sort of device from the Mechanist. Thinking this could be our next lead, I talked to Ada on what our next plan of action would be.
Yeah, it had this interesting tech.
Intriguing. Let's examine it. Impressive technology. If my analysis is correct, this is a specialized radar beacon. I suspect it's how the Mechanist was keeping track of the robo-brain you destroyed. As the next logical step, I need you to install this beacon within me so we can use it to our advantage.
Are you sure?
While there's only a 78.3% chance that I'm correct, I'd like to point out that it's the only lead we have.
Let's just hope it's safe.
I share your sentiment. You'll need to use a robot workbench to ensure proper installation, and my presence will be required. To maintain peak efficiency, I strongly recommend that we remain together until the radar beacon is successfully installed.
We then headed to the town of Sanctuary, where I thought would be the ideal place to build the robot workbench. And because I'm Batman and a genius, I was able to build this robot workbench in a matter of seconds. I then talked to Ada to make sure if this was the right call.
Does it have to be you? I could install it on a different robot.
My memory contains more relevant knowledge than any new robot you attempt to create. I appreciate your concern, but I can assure you I won't suffer any harm from the installation. So, are you ready?
It's time. Let's do this.
Good. The installation should be simple. Once I'm in the robot workbench, just install the radar beacon and I'll do the rest.
After she insisted I install the beacon on her, I used the robot workbench and installed the beacon onto Ada. After installing the beacon, it seemed that we needed 2 more beacons to fully triangulate the Mechanist's location.
And installation complete. Analyzing Mechanist hardware. The radar beacon is receiving a strong encrypted signal, but I can't determine the source.
Do you think the Mechanist knows we're tampering with the beacon?
I've already added failsafes to ensure my location is secure, and prevent any unintended commands the signal may issue. Unfortunately, one of that will help us determine the signal's source. With some additional assistance, I should be able to decrypt the signal and locate the Mechanist. Fortunately, I'm detecting another robo-brain in the Commonwealth that's receiving the same signal. If you can bring me 2 additional beacons, they should provide the keys and algorithms that I need to enhance my decryption routines.
Looks like it's robo-brain season.
At least until our mission is complete. I'm uploading the location of the robo-brain to your Pip-Boy now. Just be careful. These robots tend to travel in groups, so you're likely to encounter heavy resistance.
We then headed east to locate the second beacon. On our travels, I even had to put down a robot who thought he was a lieutenant. These robots sure are crazy. As we were nearing our target, we heard the sound of explosions getting louder. As we approached closer, a tank bot started heading towards us. Luckily, Ada was able to draw its attention while I was able to inflict the final blow. After quickly repairing Ada with a magical electric stick, we were both back in action. After dealing the final few blows to the robo-brain, we were able to collect the second beacon from its corpse. I then searched the house next to me and saw a dead settler on the ground. I then implemented the good old Batman's search and seizure on the deceased settler. Of course, for evidence purposes. Afterwards, I gave Ada the second beacon, where she was able to pinpoint the location of the third radar beacon that we needed. But it seems like it wasn't gonna be easy.
Encryption routine, but it could take a while. In the meantime, I've picked up another RoboBrain beacon signal. It should be the last one you'll need to collect.
So, where exactly is the last robo-brain located?
If my calculations are correct, the signal is coming from... Oh, this isn't good. Location confirmed. The RoboBrain is at Fort Hagen Satellite Array, which means it's in the hands of the Rust Devils.
Who or what are the Rust Devils?
Allow me to explain. My old caravan encountered them once while crossing the river into the city. The Rust Devils are a group of ruthless raiders who utilize robots for their nefarious practices. They scour the Commonwealth looking for my kind. What they can't capture and reprogram, they strip for spare parts. I realize they pose a greater threat to me than you. I just want you to be well informed. That being said, despite what lies ahead, I can easily continue to decrypt the signal as we proceed. So shall we be on our way?
It seems like if we wanted that third beacon, we were gonna have to take out these Rust Devils. We quickly made way to the satellite array. Looks like these raiders were finally gonna get a taste of justice. As we arrived at the fort, we were welcomed by the welcoming party outside. Nothing that me and Ada couldn't take care of. After the outside guards were taken care of, we headed inside. As we entered, we were met with more robots and Rust Devils trying to take us out. Luckily, I recently had my tetanus shot. As I explored the fort further, I happened to come across a full set of T-51 power armor. This was going to get ugly for the Rust Devils. As I traversed deeper into their lair, I spotted the RoboBrain on top of some sort of computer or terminal.
Doing here.
What did the Rust Devils do to you?
They felt that by keeping my head online would prove useful to them. Fortunately for me, they're stupid enough to actually believe anything I say. Admittedly, it hasn't gotten me very far, but it has saved me from the same fate as my rather unfortunate comrades you see in pieces around you. Now, back to my original question. What are you doing here?
Hunting down a radar beacon.
A radar beacon? How very interesting. That's a very specific part to be searching for, and you don't look like the typical part scavenger type to me. I calculate a 98.8% chance that you're looking for the Mechanist. If I'm correct, and I usually am, then perhaps we can help each other with our respective predicaments.
How could I possibly help you?
Willing to listen? How surprising. I'll take that as a gesture of good faith as I describe our potential bargain. Now, how can I put this as simple as possible so someone at your processing speed can understand? In order to find the Mechanist, you're going to need more than just my radar beacon. You're going to need access to the facility. I'm willing to provide said access, but you'll have to fulfill two simple conditions. One, you need to get me as far away as you can from these lunatics. And two, find me a new body. Once both conditions are satisfied, I'll gladly provide you with everything you need. Do we have a deal?
How do I know you'll keep up your end of the bargain?
Even though there's a human brain floating in a biogel inside my head, I'm still bound by my original programming. It pains me to admit it, but one of my directives states that I cannot lie. Ever. So, while I'm not the most charming robot you've ever encountered, the last thing I'm going to do is violate an agreement we've made. Now that we have that out of the way, do we have a deal?
Deal.
A wise decision. Once we're at our destination, I'll happily relinquish my radar beacon as a gesture of good faith. Now, I strongly suggest you stop loitering in the middle of a hostile location and get us both out of here at once.
After I pulled Jezebel from the machine, a giant robot called Ahab started spewing fireballs at me. It's a good thing I was in this power armor, or I would have been a bat barbecue. After some persistence, I was eventually able to take Ahab down.
Are you trying to get us killed? You destroyed Ahab. Well, come on. Let's not wait around for more horrifying monstrosities.
All that was left was to make it out of this fort. Of course, we had to take care of the leftovers. Eventually, we came across Ivy, the leader of the Rust Devils. But she was no match for Batman. After stripping her of everything, we finally made it back outside.
Unless we are out of that hole, don't think your job is done. I refuse to cooperate until you provide a body that meets my standards.
I then gave Ada the final radar beacon, but it seems like I still needed to build Jezebel a new body to uphold my end of the bargain.
There you go. Still in one piece. I'm not sure why you want the head back. All we needed was its radar beacon. Besides, robo-brains are notorious for being, well, a real pain in the neck.
We still need it, Ada. I believe it can help us access the Mechanist's facility.
Of course. It makes perfect sense that the Mechanist would not only keep its location a closely guarded secret, but would secure it against intrusion as well. I'm terribly sorry. I hadn't considered that possibility at all. I'm afraid when it comes to assisting humans, I'm not doing very well lately.
Why would you say something like that?
Isn't it obvious? Ever since I let my friends die in that caravan, I feel like I've been failing in my duties. I chose the route we took the day we were attacked. Perhaps if I'd selected an alternate route, they'd still be alive. Sometimes I wish that Jackson had programmed me with my personality mode set permanently to disabled.
Your personality defines you as an individual. Never let that go.
I appreciate what you're trying to do, but it's obvious that having my personality mode on is causing me to make mistakes. I promise I'll do my best to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'll finish up my calculations while you deal with our new friend, Jezebel. Hopefully, she'll be able to grant us access to the Mechanist's facility and we can put an end to this nonsense once and for all.
I headed back to Sanctuary and as promised, I built Jezebel a new body. However, after speaking with her, I found out a terrifying revelation and why these robots were attacking innocent people.
Look, it's obvious we don't care for each other's company, which suits me just fine. So, why don't you ask me everything you wanted to know, and then I'll be on my way.
Tell me everything you know about the Mechanist.
Now there's a fascinating subject. The Mechanist, amazingly adept at programming, a veritable genius with electronics. I'm not surprised you're interested. I've been dutifully carrying out the Mechanist's instructions to help the people of the Commonwealth for quite a long time.
Helping the people of the Commonwealth? You?
Absolutely. It's my primary directive. The Mechanist instructed me to seek out and help the people of the Commonwealth. By my calculations, the easiest way to help a human is simply to destroy it. There's no point in prolonging a laughably fragile life. It's the most efficient way to assist them. Any other effort to help tends to result in numerous complex side effects.
The Mechanist gave you these instructions? To kill people?
Well, not exactly. The specific instruction was to help people. I merely interpreted the most efficient way to perform my duties. Assisting a human to the best of my abilities only affords a 25% survival rate. That means there's a 75% chance that despite my efforts, the human I'm assisting will die from something beyond my control. Therefore, it's better to hasten the human's death and put them out of their likely chance of misery than to deplete my limited time. It's actually quite elementary. But given your minimal intellect, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised you don't understand.
Can we stop with the petty bickering and just get to the part where you tell me how to access the Mechanist's facility?
I promised to answer your questions. And unlike humans, I don't have the capacity to lie. It's rather simple, really. In order to gain entry to the Mechanist facility, you're going to need to outfit one of your robots with an MSAT modification. I'll upload the plans to your Pip-Boy device. There. I've fulfilled my portion of our agreement. Perhaps I'll remain here for a while and see how things resolve between yourself and the Mechanist. Purely for my own amusement, of course. I suspect you'll have quite a tale to tell once you return. But then again, I'd be surprised if you ever return at all.
I then told Ada about the MSAT and that we were ready to confront the Mechanist.
I need to outfit a robot with something called an MSAT. Jezebel gave me the plans.
A custom modification that acts as a key to the Mechanist facility. Very smart. In fact, chances are high the MSAT may be required for multiple access points, like a robot identification card. As for my task, I was able to decrypt the signal with the final radar beacon. The source is coming from a Robco sales and service center, most likely a front for a larger operation. It's time to take the offensive. Have you formulated a plan?
It's time to confront the Mechanist.
I hope you're allowed the opportunity. I too am curious as to what the Mechanist would have to say. Now, if you're ready, I believe you have an MSAT to install.
I quickly installed the MSAT onto Ada and was ready to set off. Unfortunately, the Robco factory was very far off and on the other side of the map. So, I decided it was finally time to try out my newly built bat plane. Me and Ada quickly got on and flew off to our destination. I had the bat plane land onto the nearest settlement so we could make the rest of the way on foot stealthily. After finding the Robco building and entering, it seemed like a normal building. That is, until I spotted a laser tripwire guarding the lower floor. After disarming the laser tripwire, I headed downstairs, where we found a strange device on the wall. After Ada scanned the device, the doors to the Mechanist's lair opened up. As I went further down, another set of doors opened up, and once I entered through, I was met with numerous laser tripwires. I knew I had to find another way to get in. Luckily, there was a hole in the wall that led me to an alternate path. It led me to a room where I was able to lockpick a door and bypass the laser tripwires altogether. As we traversed deeper into the lair, we were met with the Mechanist robots who tried to stop us, but they were no match for us. This place was definitely a dump, and no one has been in here for a very long time. I eventually came across a prison cell where there were a few feral ghouls locked behind bars. So they could finally be at peace. I made sure to put them to rest, once and for all. I eventually came into a lab where it housed many human brains that were encased in glass domes. No doubt, these were the human brains used in the robo-brains. After some digging around, it was obvious that the government in the past were experimenting on some prisoners who had their brains forcibly removed and used for these robo-brain experiments. It was a sickening thought. After bypassing the last terminal, me and Ada were finally met face to face with the Mechanist.
Halt, miscreants! You may have infiltrated my sanctum and destroyed my robots, but your reign of terror ends here!
Mechanist, this needs to stop.
The Commonwealth has suffered more than its fair share of injustices because of you. Now you'll face the full might of the Mechanist. My righteous robots will end your tyranny once and for all.
Unfortunately, the Mechanist did not want to talk it out and sent all his robots at us. These robots were no joke and were not to be taken lightly. I had to keep moving around to try and avoid getting hit. It was a long and tiring battle that dragged out, and when all hope seemed lost, it seems the Mechanist used too much of his power, causing a blackout in his lair, forcing all his robots to shut down. Afterwards, I convinced the Mechanist to come down and talk this out, as I wanted to avoid further bloodshed.
I'm not a villain. I just want you to hear me out. Face to face.
Very well. I will hear you out. But only for the sake of the Commonwealth. Sparks, with me! Let us discuss this amicably.
Who are you?
Don't you think it's time you ditched that mask?
You're right. It's time I faced the true enemy of the Commonwealth.
There. Now we both know who we're dealing with.
Hey, I'm not the enemy. I'm the one trying to protect the Commonwealth against your robots.
They have taken innocent lives. My friends, they were simple traitors, all dead at the hands of your robots.
That can't be right. Explain yourself.
How can you not know what they're doing? You must have some way of watching them.
My bots have never violated their protocol. Their data dumps only show the elimination of hostile encounters.
They're misinterpreting orders. Your own robo-brain said as much. They're saving people by killing them.
Saving by killing? No. It's the logic. It's there. I can see it now. I was hoping it was the robo-brains, an issue with their memory wipes. But you're right. Their primary directive was flawed.
That sounds like a serious flaw. And a dangerous one at that.
It is, but the process is thorough. They're wiped after each mission. I found it's best not to let them recall what they've been through.
Now you know the truth. Your robots are dangerous. They had to be stopped.
The hero unknowingly became the villain. I wanted to help the Commonwealth, and robots are all I know. I found this place and figured I could finally do my part. I accept full responsibility. I can't take back what I've done, or even atone for it. But this doesn't have to end in violence.
Tell me, why the mask? What's with the Mechanist?
I'm not good with people. The Mechanist gave me a way to put myself out there without really being out there at all. But you're kind of keeping me in suspense here. I can turn this around. I just need a chance.
I'm not here to kill you. Only to get you and your robots to stand down.
Done. Consider it done. And you won't regret this. I promise. None of the Commonwealth will. Here, take this. It's the password to the mainframe. You can use it to shut down the security protocols. I'd rather this place be in your hands now.
I then proceeded to use the mainframe to shut down the security protocols, to which then the layer was handed down to me. I guess it worked out in the end, as I needed a layer of my own. I would later decide to call it the Batcave.
Your return is a relief. I trust the outcome was what you wanted.
Would you be disappointed to hear that I let her live?
I do have conflicting outlooks if that is the case. But I trust your judgment. If she lives, she does so with the guilt of what she's done.
I got her to see the truth. She's standing down.
So the Mechanist really was misguided. Did she reveal her motives and reasoning?
She truly wanted to help people. She didn't know what the robo-brains were doing. To her, a life saved was a life saved.
A biological wild card. The unknowns are vast. She had to know the risk she was taking by creating them. Many good people endured suffering and death because of the Mechanist. It's a shame a mind as brilliant as hers allowed such atrocities to be committed.
She's good at heart. She made a mistake. A big one. And she'll live with that guilt.
I believe I have a certain understanding when it comes to guilt. While it's not the justice I had hoped for, it will suffice. Still, I now know that the death of my friends has brought about a safer Commonwealth. Had the Mechanist's robots remained unchecked, I'm certain that damage would have been extensive, halting, if not reversing, any progress that has been made here. With this knowledge, I am finally registering feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment. And I have you to thank for it.
Hey, just one more thing, if you have a minute.
What's up?
Just a quick thing. Isabel. That's my name. Isabel Cruz. I just wanted to say I'm really happy, thankful that you've let me stick around here. And in order to show you that I'm done with the past, I want you to have this as a sort of promise, I guess. It's the Mechanist suit I made.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What started all this? The suit, the robots. It had to be something.
You wouldn't understand.
You never know until you tell me.
You say that. I just didn't have much in the way of friends while I was growing up. Robots are all I've ever really had. Sparks was my very first creation. My very first real friend. The General Atomics Factory originally drew me to the Commonwealth. I never expected to also find this entire military base dedicated to robotics. But I did. So I did what I knew best. I built amazing robots and hoped to save the Commonwealth. And I guess you know the rest of that story.
So tell me, why the Mechanist? How'd you come up with that?
It's a little silly. I found the idea, this drawing, at a ransacked caravan. It was like some sort of hero that someone had created. Even made their own posters. I took what I could and decided I wanted to bring that hero to life. It was too late to save that caravan, but becoming the Mechanist was my way of keeping hope alive.
All this inspired by a drawing.
I know how it sounds, but the only things I had besides robots were comic books. I used to dream about being a hero. Everything just came together. I thought the Mechanist was the next logical step.
At least you tried. It's more than most people do these days.
True, but I think we'd both agree I'd be better off if I never found this place.
It's been a few months now, and the Commonwealth has been pretty quiet after the whole Mechanist situation finally died down. Isabel has actually been helping me get the Batcave in order, and Ada actually decided to stay with Isabel and help her out as well. Isabel's been doing better now, but sometimes the nightmares come whenever she's reminded of her past deeds. Anyways, I've been feeling exhausted with my constant patrols. I'm gonna go and take a quick nap before I head out again. I'm not even going to ask. Too tired to care. After getting a few hours of sleep, I was awoken to a call from Isabel saying that she needed me at the Batcave immediately. It seems she located some rogue robots that are still out in the Commonwealth, and she finally found their location.
There are still robots out there. Lots of them. My communications are down, and I can't call them back. But I can tell you where they are, if you're interested.
Sure.
Great. All right. Yes, I've picked up another one. Shouldn't be too bad, I hope.
I quickly sprung into action and headed for the location that Isabel gave me. It's not easy being the beacon of hope for the Commonwealth, but it's definitely rewarding. The Commonwealth will always need a Batman.